Welcome back into Rounding Third Baseball, episode 236. Why is everyone blue and red? Featuring Baseball History Dork. I'm Nick. We have Harrison, and we have our special guest, Forrest, and his page, Baseball History Dork. How you doing tonight, Forrest?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. How are you, gentlemen?
Doing pretty well. We're glad to have you back on the show for sure. It's been a little bit. It's been a couple months, right, since your last appearance.
It has been, and I'm always happy to be back. Hopefully, it won't be so long between now and the next time.
Absolutely, because your last segment was it was absolutely incredible. We talked about the different bats over time, but this time we're gonna change it up a little bit and talk about the history of teams' colors and stuff. So I'm excited for this one for sure.
So is there going to be no banana bat talk tonight? All right.
Not tonight. I could maybe put something together for you.
Sure. And how are you doing tonight, Harrison?
Fantastic. I love when Forrest stops by and schools us on some history. So I always enjoy the storytelling. So let's do this. Let's jump in.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Before we jump in, make sure that you follow and like us on Facebook. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can also follow on Instagram, Rumble, and TikTok. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. We also have our affiliate sponsors, Dick's Sporting Goods, MLB Shop, and Lids. You can find these links on the tops of all of our socials. So if you do any shopping with these companies, please do it through our links, as we get a nice little kickback with no additional cost to you. Just a great way to support the podcast. We also have our Rounding Third merch. We have Rounding Third Baseball on Etsy. You can go on there, find sweatshirts, t-shirts, tumblers, whole bunch of stuff on there that you would like. I love my handy dandy phone case. It's pretty sweet. But, I mean, that's me. But there's other stuff on there. It's a great way to support us and to get our name out there.
And don't forget to come play Jeopardy on Wednesday nights and compete.
That's right. Absolutely. For your chance at Rounding Third merch. All right. Here we go.
Jeopardy is a party.
It is. It's been a great time. It's been awesome. So, all right. Baseball History Dork, we're turning it over to you. We're changing some team colors. You're going to kind of lead us through the history of it. Why is everybody red and blue? I know this kind of sparked something in your head because I put a comment. I can't remember exactly what post it was. You might be able to tell me. But I was like, I like these team colors because they're not red and blue.
I remember when that last came up, but I do remember that you and I have had this conversation several times, and the last time you brought it up, I was like, you know what, we're doing a show about this. It's got to happen.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah, it's not really a straight history lesson tonight for you, but there will be a little bit of that with Nick and Harrison about this subject. A lot of you may have noticed that in Major League Baseball, there's a traffic jam of teams whose main colors are red and blue, particularly a lot of red and navy blue. And I know team colors are something that you identify with, you hold on to, and you rally behind, and that's something I would never want to change for anyone, and it's all just for fun. But I think there's a few ways we can make Major League Baseball a little more diverse as far as the color of the uniforms, and just make it a little more interesting. So,
yeah, absolutely. I love like the black and yellow of the Pirates. It's simple, but there's no yellow teams, like even orange is kind of all over the place too, but it's just not as prevalent as red and blue are. I mean, Seattle Mariners, the teal, the Diamondbacks with the purple, the Rockies with the purple. It's different. I like different.
Don't forget your favorite Kelly Green, Nick.
The Kelly Green Oakland A's are, by far the green and yellow love. But
that's why this came up last time. We were talking about the Oakland A's. or whatever they are now.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So we're going to dive into this non-uniformity.
All right. So assigning team colors in baseball is not a new idea. Some of you may know, but for those of you who don't, it's kind of an interesting story. It goes back to at least 1882 in the National League. And after they kind of toyed around with the idea, the American Association, the other major league at the time, tried it out for a time. What happened was, what they did was each team, this is wild, each team was assigned a color, but not their uniform, just their stockings, what they called them at the time, their stockings. Every position, not every team had every team had a different color stockings, but every position in the league wore a different color. So every shortstop in the league wore, let's say, yellow. Every center fielder wore purple, so on and so forth. And to make it even crazier, there were solids and there were stripes. So if you look it up, you might see a colorized picture of a team from 1882, and you're going to see absolute anarchy.
That's incredible. I never knew that. So they were colored by position.
By position.
Huh.
So you always knew what position you were looking at, but you might forget what team you were looking at unless you looked at their stockings.
Interesting.
But,
Wow.
Yeah. And you'll be interested to know that even then, Chicago's stockings were white and Boston's stockings were red.
I mean, makes sense.
And,
so if they change positions throughout the game, maybe they didn't. But like, say you're playing center for us and I'm playing short, and we flip flop. Do we flip flop jerseys?
I think they would have to, or they just didn't. I mean, I think they did like switches. Like if a pitcher got tired, I know there was a time when they would bring in the center fielder to throw a pitch or, finish off the game and put the pitcher in center field, because you could only take the pitcher out in those days for injuries, I believe. So they kind of had to get creative with it. So I would assume they would have to switch jerseys in order to follow protocol of the league.
That's crazy. Yeah,
so
no one's gonna want to wear my sweaty jersey. Let me tell you.
Yeah, and talk about mismatched colors and all. It just would have been a train wreck out there.
That's funny.
Well, maybe anybody who happened to play multiple positions had some backups or something. But back in those days, Cleveland and Detroit had National League teams, and even then, Cleveland was blue and Detroit was sort of an orange-brown, just like the Tigers. And the rest of the National League was filled out with Buffalo, Providence, Troy, New York, and get this,
Worcester. Yeah, that's right. Worcester. Love it. That's crazy. So, I mean, this was obviously like way before numbers, right? Numbers weren't a thing until what? Yeah. The teens, right? 20s, okay, teens and 20s.
Mostly.
So, yeah, crazy. Yeah. That's awesome. All right.
Easier to assign a color to every team.
Well, there's that too. Yeah, for sure.
That certainly helps.
Yeah. All right. The history of the powder blues here. We know, these are one of my favorite uniforms just because they're usually kind of the alternates. We don't see them a lot. I mean, other than Kansas City. I think Kansas City is probably the most prevalent powder blues we see now. But I know the Braves have had some. Yeah, Braves, Toronto. We've seen a lot more powder blues out of them. And the Expos. We all love the Expos. But that's the other. I think that's the last. Oh, I do anyways. You might not. But yeah. So what do you got on the powder blues for us?
Anyway. All right. So, it's just kind of tied in with the whole thing about this overwhelming number of red and red and navy blue right now. Back in the 70s and 80s, and it reached its peak in 1980, I understand. There were 11 teams that were wearing powder blue, and I think it was pretty much an alternate to the road grays. That's that's when they wore them. But there were 11 teams that featured the powder blue at that time, and just so happens that's the same number of teams that I counted anyway that kind of feature red and blue, red and navy right now. So I thought that was an interesting tie-in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So before we get into the real meat of why I'm here, some of you may be thinking this already, and I want to assure you, if you're a Red Sox fan, guys, not going to touch the Red Sox. That wouldn't make any sense. I mean, the City Connect, I mean, it's for a great reason, but a lot of people say, well, that doesn't make sense. They're the Red Sox. They're not blue and yellow. So
yeah,
I wouldn't.
Yeah, that and they had the Green Monster Greens this year, which I don't mind them. At first, I was like, I don't know, but they're growing on me a little bit. But you're right, it is hard. Like a historical franchise like that, like the Yankees, the Dodgers, to kind of switch their colors is, I mean, I wouldn't say sacrilege, but it's weird to look at, right? It's just weird.
Yeah. So I'm not going to touch the Red Sox. I'm not going to touch the Blue Jays. I'm not going to touch the Cardinals because, Cardinal red, obviously.
Right.
It's like saying the Reds have to wear orange and the Royals can't wear royal blue,
Yeah, right. Absolutely. All right.
Also, the Nationals not going there. I mean, we're right up around the 4th of July. Baseball is America's pastime for some people still, and thankfully it's gone well beyond our borders, but it's still the national pastime for some, and we're not changing red and blue with the Washington Nationals. I just
I feel you there. That's definitely a tough one to touch for sure, especially around this time. Absolutely. All right. So we'll dive into the first one here. Your Minnesota Twins, Forrest.
My Minnesota Twins. What are they, 4th place?
Sure.
Third. Yeah, third.
Oh, third.
Are they third? Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the Minnesota Twins were, as a lot of us know, formerly were the Washington Senators, and I think that's probably a good reason why blue and they've stuck with it. But I thought, first of all, and it's not reflected on this graphic here, but my first thought with them actually was not to get too hippy-dippy on you, but the Gemini sign of the zodiac. I kind of looked around with that, and the traditional colors of the Gemini zodiac sign are sort of a orange, yellow, and green, or possibly blue. And so that's another possibility, but I didn't know how well people would really identify with that one, and I didn't want to get too esoteric on you. But
I don't know what you just said, but I think I think the Gemini sign would be. I mean, it's a good idea. It's a good place to kind of go with it. I mean, obviously, Twins, Gemini. I mean, the connection's there. I get it for sure. And just to change it up a little bit, why not?
Yeah, and maybe it would have been a little better than this because we are actually sticking with a lot of blue here. But what I did do is the 2 shades of blue to reflect the state flag of Minnesota, and sort of the 10,000 lakes and the natural wonders of Minnesota.
Yeah. How do you like their City Connects? Because they really paid a lot of homage to the 10,000 lakes, like underneath the cap and the colors that they choose there. They went like a royal blue and a bright yellow, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they did. I mean, I liked the Twin Cities ones
Mm.
that they had. Just kind of basic. It was white and black or white and navy blue, probably. Not a big fan of City Connect in general. I kind of look at them and I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Moving on.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
Doesn't bother me.
I'm with you. I find most of them disappointing, but I can appreciate that MLB was trying to do something. I don't feel like the execution of it in most cases was very good.
Yeah. Although I am going to harken back to a City Connect in the near future here.
All right.
Cool.
So,
Oh, there we go.
All right.
Next
our
up, this one.
Texas Rangers.
I thought this one was a lot of fun. Texas Rangers are another squad that used to be the Washington Senators, another iteration of the Washington Senators, but nonetheless. So that's, again, where they get their red and blue, plus the Texas state flag, red, white, and blue. And I know you're not supposed to mess with Texas and everything, but I really like the idea of kind of Old West colors. You got the tan, sort of like cowboy leather colors, black. I don't know. It just seems Old Westy.
Yeah, that rust color for sure. I'm with you here. I love this.
It just
Kinda
feels so Texas.
Yeah.
You feel Texas?
It just feels so Texas. It's that rust color. It's that dusty color. Like it feels so Texas.
Yeah. So I wanted to use that color, but I wanted to make it not, a lot like the San Diego Padres.
Yep.
But I think that one's, I like that one.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I get where they were going with their City Connects too. Like, I like the emblem of the TX that they got going. It has like the spur on it. Like, I mean, they did an all right job with it. But honestly, I like this color scheme much better. If they went just a black and a rust would be incredible.
Yeah. And I think their City Connect is, I think I've said it before, I think it's one of the best ones out there. And I think they could make that their every day. I really do. Anyway, this is what we're going to go
I'm with you. I think it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, their City Connect is simple, but yet like it's not over the top like a lot of these other ones are. So I really do like. But I love this color scheme for sure.
And they didn't make the same mistake others have done, going with like the dark top and the lighter pants, so it looks like a beer league softball uni. Like they kept it consistent.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they do have those black pants like everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We got the Phillies here.
Yes. And I could not do anything other than bring the Phillies back to the burgundy. Yeah. However, I really I'd seen this hat before, and these are all hats that actually do exist, but I'd seen this before, and I just loved the mashup between the burgundy and the classic current P logo. And the reason I wanted to keep that, I wanted to go with burgundy, obviously, to switch up the color, but the reason I wanted to keep that emblem, the P, is a lot of people don't know, before they were burgundy, they wore uniforms very much like what they have now, and that look, with a few minor adjustments, goes way back. It goes back to like the 1930s.
Oh wow!
So, I mean, that's history right there.
Yeah, I mean the Philly burgundy with the powder blues that we showed earlier. I love when they're in the all burgundies with the blue pinstripes. I think those are.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Phillies guy, but those uniforms are a chef's kiss. I absolutely love those burgundies with that blue down the stripe. So
yeah, honestly, like when I think of the Phillies, I still think of the burgundy color, more so than anything else. It just, I just that color is so iconic with that team.
Yeah, I'm with you. So.
Yeah, there was nothing else. I could do.
I'm with you.
No,
I would bring it back. Yep, bring it back for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Cleveland Guardians here.
Cleveland Guardians. All right. So, another good reason that a team is red and blue in the first place. Red and blue is Cleveland's city colors, and it's the Ohio state flag, red, white, and blue. A lot of state flags are red, white, and blue. So that's why we got where we are now. But I wanted to do something that kind of reflected the new name, Guardians. I know it's not the most popular name in the world in the Major League Baseball, but the base color for the hat, I envisioned it as sort of a traffic bridge, and keeping the blue. I think the bill is sort of dark blue, and the C is a little lighter. Just makes it pop a little bit. Gives you a little.
Yeah.
All right. So it gives you a little variety. It maybe reminds some of, depending on how we do that blue, it's going to remind people of the old San Diego Padres for 20 some years until they went back to brown, how they were kind of stuck in that gray navy quandary that didn't really represent the Padres, but I think it represents the Guardians.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think a lot of people understand what the Guardians mask outside of Cleveland. I don't think a lot of baseball fans understand where Guardians comes from. There's a select few of us, and I don't think they understand that it comes from the bridge there. I went to Cleveland a few years ago. I love the place. We went up the river on like a boat tour, and you can actually see like all the drawbridges like throughout that river. It was really cool. And to see the Guardian statues in front of the bridges was pretty awesome. So I kind of got a history lesson, if you will, there about the Guardians and why they were, eventually named that. Not popular with Cleveland Indians fans, but I digress.
No,
it's funny to think that the Guardians name is as controversial as the Indians
I
name.
think that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no kidding. More so. But I think that Guardian Bridge gives us possibilities for a great logo, like a cap logo, not just a sleeve or.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Something really great.
Yeah, I think they kind of stuck with this C because it was in the transition. They were still trying to figure out what they were going to name their team. They knew it couldn't be the Indians, and they're like, let's just slap a C on there and call it good. We'll be Cleveland for a while. And then they just haven't come out with a new design, for their hat yet. But I'm with you. I think a Guardian type statue on there would be sick.
Yeah, you gotta lean into it.
Yeah, if you're going for it, go for it.
Yeah, even just use it as an alternate. Use a picture of the bridge or a Guardian statue, or just mix it as an alternate. See what people think of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. People might rally behind it finally.
Now this one, Forrest, this one's interesting to me because I would almost think the Braves are untouchable, but I'm glad you went here. So
this is bold.
What do you got?
Yeah, this is bold. I like it.
Yeah, well, I actually wanted to lead off by saying I realize the Braves colors have been red and blue since the beginning of time. No, I said the Phillies look goes back a long time, but the Braves have been red and blue forever. So, but no, I'm not afraid to shake things up, and that's what we're going to do tonight. So, I chose purple because, red is actually a color that represents bravery, but so is purple, and our job here tonight is to change things, and so that's what we're doing. We're going to go with purple, and one of you mentioned the Rockies earlier, and obviously they're kind of purple is their domain. However, I really don't think that they have leaned into it as much as they could. They, aside from some alternates, they're mostly black and gray.
Yeah, you're right. So, absolutely right.
Yeah. they don't want it, the Braves are going to
Yep,
take it.
let's make it happen. I'm all for it.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean that's a
Yeah.
great point about the bravery part. You know, like a Purple Heart, right? That's what you receive if you've gone to war, got injured. You get a Purple Heart. I mean that's I love that connection. That's amazing.
That's a good one.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go.
All right.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
specifically.
that's what crossed my mind. As soon as you said bravery, it was like bang, Purple Heart. Like understand it for sure. But all right.
Nice.
And the last one you got for us tonight.
This one I like because, well, first of all, the Angels have had that red on red look forever, and just with no variation. 25 years now
at least,
and I just think it's time for a change. And we are sticking with a little bit of blue here. I was thinking what we would do here is sort of I guess what I would call celestial colors: sky blue, silver lining.
Yeah.
I thought about making gold, but it might be a little bit too close to what the Rays have going on. But I also don't think the Rays have really leaned into the baby blue as much as they could have. So we're sweeping in and taking it.
Yeah. I definitely remember when they switched from like the Devil Rays to the Rays, they had that light sky blue jerseys for a while, and they pretty quickly went to the navy blues after that, and have pretty much stuck with that since. I love this color scheme for sure. This also, for a brief time, like the Garrett Anderson era, Troy Gloss era, they had their emblem changed a little bit. It had like the wings on one side of the A, and they did have almost this shade of blue in the background. It was very subtle. It wasn't a very big logo, and it wasn't around for long. Like you said, like they went right back to the A with a halo.
Well, that was what, the Disney years?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I would love this for that team, that organization for sure. It's a great one.
Yeah.
Are there any other teams that we didn't put in the slideshow that you would like to change their colors?
Ooh, loaded question.
Wow, I hadn't really thought about it. I was just so focused on the red and the blue. I do want to say this though. You mentioned, being bold and changing the colors of a team that's got that long history. Some of you may have noticed that I have not mentioned the Chicago Cubs. I'm not doing that. I'm not touching the Chicago Cubs, man. I thought, and obviously, I could have gone with something like the Chicago Bears colors, but I'm just not doing it.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I agree. I think there are teams that are off limits. I mean, as much as we're Red Sox fans, the Yankees won't even put out a City Connect jersey because they don't want to change it. So even if we wanted to, they're not going to. So, I mean, there are teams that are off limits. What about you, Harrison? Are there any teams that you would like to see kind of change their colors?
One of the teams that I wanted to see make some sort of change was the Reds, and they've really leaned into the alternates and the City Connects and done a nice job bringing some life to that. What was really kind of a really dull uniform for a lot of years. It's been nice to see them really dive into that.
I do love their City Connects.
Yeah, they're pretty sweet. Yeah, because they have like the rope that goes against the hat across the bill. That a lot of old school hats had that rope kind of across the top of the bill too. And I do like the look of the C that they changed on their City Connect. So I'm with you, Harrison. I like how Sensi kind of leaned into that for sure.
Yeah, and I do think one team, if I could change the uniforms, I think would probably be the Dodgers. I feel like the Dodgers aren't as, I would say, rigid as the Yankees, but it's a very generic uniform. I mean, it's the the typical
Close.
kind of handwriting script across the solid color. Kind of it's an old, the uniform just feels old. And I think the way that team has remade itself with all that talent, all the international talent, you think you'd want to jazz that up a little bit. I think they'd be prime for at least like a really cool alternate that became more common. But I find their unis to be kind of just plain.
Yeah. So
I think it's one of those uniforms that's just, it's great the way it is, but yeah, they could use a refresher.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
classic.
absolutely.
You know, it's classic. And I think your new age baseball fan has seen it many times and is looking for that excitement, looking for something that's got a little more pizzazz to it. Maybe not every night. Maybe it's an alternate that comes out once a week, twice a week. But I think that's a team that has all the eyes on them in the world. You know, why not use that to your advantage?
Yeah. So I do have a question though. With all the talks of expansion coming out, you know, we could be adding 2 teams here in the next 6,
Yeah.
7, 8, well, who knows, 20 years at this point. What colors would we like to see on these expansion teams that might be not red and blue?
I think you could easily swipe some of Forrest's ideas from tonight.
But
Orange
That-
and green.
Where you go.
What'd you say? Orange and green?
We need more orange and green. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
I just want to see different color combinations that we don't see. Like I do like that when the Padres switched to the Browns, that they went with like a gold or a yellow. Like it's different. Nobody's brown, right? Yeah, we have one yellow team with the Pirates, but I love that color combination. You can make a different color combination. I was thinking, I know it's blue, but Portland do like a navy blue and the Oakland green, kind of mesh those two together. I think that color scheme would be awesome, even if it was a bright green. But there's just so many different combinations I think we can do.
They should do a teal to really piss Seattle off.
That'd be incredible.
You know, speaking of teal, I really think the Marlins should just go back to where they started. And stick with it.
Amen.
Yes.
I really do.
Amen.
I don't like the idea of talking about how a color is outdated or just dated, whatever. Doesn't make sense to me. If it's good,
And those
it's good.
uniforms were one of the best uniforms in MLB history, in my opinion.
They were great.
I mean, those teals with the teal pinstripes, the teal hats. I mean, come on. Those things were nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, Harrison? Any color schemes you would like to see with the new teams here?
I'm kind of in the same boat. I really like those uniforms that kind of have that black backing. Whether it's black and orange, black and green, black and yellow, just not more white, red and blue. Like, let's try to get a little more creative here, and especially for expansion, like, you know, you want to bring some excitement to a new team. You know, hit us with a cool design, hit us with a uniform that's memorable, with a uniform that stands out. Not a City Connect, men's league softball uniform, but like, you know, dive into those bright colors. You know, I love what the Diamondbacks have done, mixing in the purple and all that. Like, you know, use black, which is a kind of a blank canvas. You can match anything with black, and then find a second color that really pops and utilize that combo to bring some excitement to it. Because I do think expansion, this is your chance to really, you know, it's your billboard. You know, make a uniform people are going to remember.
Yeah.
Exactly. Have something that's just yours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
be
right.
bold.
Yeah. All right. Before we go, Forrest, I do want to ask you something not related to uniform colors at all, but you've been going to a lot of old school baseball games.
Oh yeah.
So like, I want to ask you about like what that experience is, how it looks, like all of it. I want to know what that's like.
It's really interesting. Have either one of you ever attended a game like that at all?
No.
I remember watching a special on, I want to say This Week in Baseball did like a special on those games one time, and I watched it, but I've never been to something like it.
Okay. I mean, I'd love to. I'd love to make more videos of it next time we go, because there's another one coming up in August. It's they play the game as they play it in the 1860s. I think it's what they say. Nothing real specific, but it takes place at the History Center here in our town, and so it is a history lesson along with a ball game. And we got the umpire, Sir Finds a Lot. He's got a microphone when he's standing behind the plate there, and he's giving a history lesson throughout the game. He's explaining what the differences are, and what you can expect if for people that are new, and he's letting people know that the differences that could involve a ball in or in fair territory, and then spins and goes straight out into foul territory before it crosses the base. It's still fair, and so you got to get out of the way. If you're a spectator and ball comes bounding towards you, you got to get out of the way, because they're going to come and field it, and if you touch it, it's a dead ball. So you don't want to ruin the game like that.
Yeah.
And the main difference is back in those days, you could record an out by catching the ball on one bounce.
I did know that one. That was a cool one.
That was the rule for. I forget exactly when that changed, but for a while you could record an out on a. Let's see, what are the other differences? Well, no gloves. There's a lot of
wild.
A lot of what looks like it should be an easy. Yeah, it really is. I mean, there's a lot of what people may interpret as sloppy play, but there's a lot of what you think is going to be an easy out, and it's not. There's going to be backspin, and it's going to roll right off your fingers, and so there's a lot of that, a lot of action, a lot of scoring. What else? There's no gloves.
Do they pitch overhand, underhand?
There's it's underhand.
Okay.
Underhand. And one thing I wish was different, and I think in some of these leagues it probably is, they probably get really into the the bare bones of the reality of how it was back then. But here it seems like it's a lot of slow pitch. Whereas back in those days, they could still mess with the. I think the curveball was invented in the 1860s, even though it was underhand, and they were still throwing fast in those days. They were chucking it, but it's all about fun and kind of learning about the game. So I think they're not quite as concerned about the competition aspect. It's kind of just the history lesson. And
yeah, that's incredible.
It's so cool, though.
Yeah, I would love to get up. You should let us know when we're coming, dude. I'd love to travel up to Minnesota, go to one of those games, and have you just talk me through it. I would love it. That'd be incredible. Yeah, absolutely. You'll just have to give me a schedule.
What are you doing in August?
Probably working, but but yeah, just let me know, and I'll see what I can do to get up there. It'd be absolutely incredible. I'd love to see one of those games, hang out with you, talk me through it.
I can give you.
Yeah, that would be awesome. But,
yeah, man, I'd love to meet you guys.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I give you, honestly, as soon as they release their schedule for next year, as soon as they.
Yeah, definitely let us know. Maybe that will be our baseball trip.
So I'd love to bring my kids to show them the history of it. They think they've seen baseball today. They have no idea what that looks like back then, and just how different it was. It'd be a lot of fun.
So yeah, there's lots of kids out there at those games, and people bring their dogs, and
that's cool.
Sounds fun.
Yeah,
just be ready to get out of the way when the ball spins.
Fair enough. All right. Yeah,
Can do.
definitely send us that schedule, Forrest, and we'll see if we can make something work. It'd be awesome to hang out with you, go to one of those games, and get a free history lesson.
Yep.
But maybe in return we bring it.
That would be a blast. We'll go have a couple of
Yeah,
beers.
absolutely. And then maybe in return we bring it to the Twins game or something, because I got to get that stadium off my checklist.
yeah.
So I think it would be awesome. But
Oh, you haven't been?
No.
Minnesota's on my checklist. So we'll make it work. We'll make it happen.
All right, we're doing
absolutely.
this.
So
Game on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, absolutely incredible. Always a blast having you on, Forrest. Really appreciate it. If you have not followed Baseball History Dork on Facebook, you absolutely need to. The stuff he puts out, if you are into baseball at all, in any aspect of baseball, when we first started our page, like you were one of the first pages that like popped up on our suggested, and we followed you right away, and it has been an incredible ride. You put everybody right in the history of baseball, and we absolutely love it, Forrest. You do an incredible job. So everybody listening, please, if you are not already, do yourself a favor and follow Baseball History Dork. You won't be disappointed.
I'm on that page constantly, liking stuff, reading stuff. Just, it's all good. It's great stuff. It's great storytelling too.
That doesn't go unnoticed. Yeah, that's the thing. I started it for the storytelling, and I really wanted to get back into the really deep stories, like all the details, and just not leaving anything out. That's how I started, and I think that's how I gained a lot of my followers, and I do think they deserve that. So, with it, and continue doing with it.
Yeah. Well, you do an incredible job, buddy. So keep it up. Really appreciate it.
And you guys are doing some great things too. I mean,
thank you. We appreciate it. We
I've
put a
been
lot of
loving
work
your,
into
this day in history. Learn it.
We appreciate it. We'll be good. We'll stay in touch. We'll keep in touch. We'll get together here soon. And definitely give Baseball History Dork a follow. And we will be back on Sunday, 9 p.m. Everybody have a safe and happy 4th. Forrest, you too. No fireworks. Keep your distance. Keep all your fingers, please. And
I'm staying away from that noise.
All right. Everybody else, please keep your fingers so you can type to us in the chat on Sunday nights and for our Jeopardy on Wednesday nights. Until then, enjoy the games. Enjoy your 4th. We'll see you Sunday at 9 p.m.
See ya.